a bit of an alternative view here. Joining me now is a Republican with a different view for now on this health care bill. And I say for now because I have a feeling he is going to say the same thing. Senator Ron Johnson of Wisconsin. Senator, good afternoon, sir.
Hello, Chuck. How you doing?
Right before I did a stint on Hugh Hewitt's radio show this morning, it's my understanding you were on Hugh Hewitt's radio show this morning, and he indicated to me that you essentially made the case, how can I support this bill if it can't pass the House? So I guess my question for you is, if you're convinced it can pass the House, you'll support this bill, but you won't support this bill if it can't pass the House. Is that where you are?
Well, I've been working with the House for a number of months here, recognizing this is a real problem. I mean, this was a real botch job on the part of Democrats when they passed Obamacare not to provide the funding, the legal funding mechanism for these cost-sharing reductions. And so the bottom line is the insurance companies will get paid either way. I mean, the fix is already in. They either get the cost-sharing reductions or they will increase premiums, and the American taxpayer will be out, according to CBO, another $194 billion. And so I think it's a legitimate point of view on the part of Republicans to really resist trying to fund these unsustainable markets. So that's a legitimate point of view, but the reality is if we don't fund these cost-sharing reductions, premiums will increase, and people that are working hard, those individuals that don't get subsidies that Bill Clinton talked about, already priced out of Obamacare markets, will be further priced. So
you're for this bill?
What I'm for is in exchange for the cost-sharing reductions, getting some real reforms. And I appreciate what Lamar and Patty have done. But let's face it, Chuck, it's a pretty easy lift to convince all Democrats to fund this faulty architecture. It's more difficult in the House. So I've just taken a different position. The higher hurdle, and there's two hurdles, 60 votes in the Senate, but getting Republicans in the House also to pass this, because if they don't, what good is this? So I've been working with the House. I'm that close. Yeah. I think the bar has now been raised a little bit because of all the rhetoric. But we need more freedom and choice in health care.
It's funny you say that because of all the
Democrats have to recognize that the faulty architecture of Obamacare is hurting real people. So we just need more in order to pass the House.
It's funny you say that. I'm curious, and I had this question for a Democratic senator. Are the Democrats too enthusiastic about this right now? And is it making it harder for you to win votes in the House?
Again, I was this close to having a companion bill dropped in the House that would provide more freedom and choice. Short-term limited duration plans would have been part of our plan. President Obama, under his administration, these things...
Are you saying that the announcement of the Alexander Murray deal shuts your deal down?
It certainly delayed it, yes. That's just the fact of the matter. I was about ready to drop that bill with a companion in the House, and with all the rhetoric yesterday, that's been delayed. But again, I'm not deterred. We're going to keep working with noted House members, both moderate and conservative. Yeah. But it's going to require more. It's going to require more freedom and choice. What a concept! For example,
what is the more? Because it's my understanding. I felt like the line that was drawn by Paul Ryan were on these subsidies. Are you saying you can get the House Republicans to reluctantly support these subsidies on a temporary basis in exchange for what?
Well, prior to yesterday, I was quite sure of it. A little bit more hanging in the balance right now, but
fair enough.
The added elements was, let's return short-term limited duration plans to the 364-day term as they were under 3 years under Obama. As he left the door, he cranked those things down to 90 days. So now people have to buy insurance every 90 days with $5,000 deductibles in one case of a couple in Wisconsin. Let's not assess the individual penalty for 2017. Let's not send out those notices to 90,000 businesses assessing $5 billion in fines. That'd be harmful economic growth. Let's increase transparency. Let's have CMS require more publishing and pricing for consumers to make better health care choices. And let's use HSAs, expand their use, allow HSAs to be used to purchase those expanded employer choices. So all these are incredibly reasonable proposals. A lot of them are already part of Obamacare. That's the type of additional elements that we need to get this passed in the House. And then I think we can fund these cost-sharing reductions. And I think that's pretty much what the president signaled as well earlier today.
I was just going to say, if you don't get the president's support, or if Alexander Murray doesn't get the president's support, or you don't get the president's support, it doesn't pass the House. Do you agree with Senator Rounds on that? I mean, he pretty much said this This is about winning the president's support if we have a snowball's chance in the House.
Well, we need the president, but we also need Republicans in the House and conservative Republicans in the House. And so, again, for so long, the rhetoric has been this is bailing out insurance companies. Democrats really did a good job of protecting insurance companies either way. They're going to get bailed out either way. That reality, I don't think, is really sunk into the consciousness of every member. We need to get that reality out, but we just need more than what Lamar Alexander and Patty Murray have done with their bill.
All right. Senator Ron Johnson, Republican from Wisconsin. You've been in the center of this fight for the last couple of months for sure, and obviously longer than that. Thanks for coming on and sharing your views, sir. Appreciate it.
Have a great night.